Bismillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. This is an important message that I want you to think deeply about. I don't think anybody now is in any two minds about how serious this virus crisis is, and I'm not going to repeat myself. I've been speaking about this and warning about some of these situations for the last few weeks now. Now I just want you to focus. All the communities around the world are going to be ravaged by this. But my primary responsibility is to you, the Muslim community, and frankly, we're not the greatest in terms of our physical and psychological preparation for death, even though we should be at the top of the list for that. And that's what I need you to be right now, to be prepared as much as possible for what's about to happen. Your leaders, your scholars, your representatives, especially the funeral services, have been working flat out and been in contact with the authorities, trying to use the existing models, which we know are imperfect, going from best case scenarios to worst case scenarios, to try and understand whether we will have the capacity for when the situation becomes even more serious than it is right now. We all know it's going to get worse. We all know that our ability to cope with a large influx of deaths, and especially for Muslims with the amount of processes that are required and the sacredness of the body, then this is a major area of concern. And I know that you don't need extra videos to be sending around on WhatsApp. And I know that all these people, maybe you might think myself and other experts, may be adding to the confusion and panic. And so we're often being accused of scaremongering. But even when we're speaking the truth, even when we're speaking from authority with the facts, it's a fine line how you understand what is scaremongering. The government cannot be accused of scaremongering. The big word at the moment is cremation in the UK certainly, and the other governments will follow. That's not scaremongering, that's a fact. There is a move to legally change the rights of faith communities to protest against, on the basis of faith, against cremation in an extreme scenario. And we're not going to allow, the Muslim community is not going to allow something so prohibited to go ahead, because you're all going to be responsible. You're going to email your MPs and ask them to support the amendment to allow this to be given to the family as a right, that objection be preserved, that the faith community rights be protected. But frankly, that's not what I'm recording this video for. I want you to actually understand why the government is even considering such an extreme move, and it recognizes itself that it's such an extreme move. That's because right now we've seen so many examples and proof that it's unmanageable, such a large number of deaths in a short period of time. And even though we are coping right now, based upon our working with the authorities and the amount of people that we have washed and buried and so on, that have died from COVID, we've been able to offer them a ghusl and a kafan, the washing, the shrouding, the burial itself, and then janazah, even if it's only by one person in some cases and by smaller groups in other cases, whether it's on site at the graveyard or even in other locations. It's been managed so far, but I can confirm to you that no family member has been able to be present at all stages of this process. Most of them only at the final stage. That is not me scaremongering, that is a fact. I can confirm for you right now that there is no local authority that's following one single national policy. Each local authority has been given its own authority to decide exactly what it wants to do. Some are not allowing any single person to come to a hospital mortuary. Their own morticians have to wash the body, that is including non-Muslims as well, seal the casket, and it gets sent straight off to be buried, alhamdulillah, into a Muslim graveyard or chosen specified location. There are others that are allowing the Muslim chaplain within the hospital only to do that ghusl and then the rest of the process. Some are more lenient and allowing the Muslim funeral services either to do it on site or to actually take the body away. But at no stage, any of these, from what you might call strict to lenient health authorities, is any family member allowed into the hospital, let alone the fact that most of the Muslim family members are required to quarantine themselves and be in self-isolation or physical distancing, however you want to understand it. And there are, at that stage, at that time, we don't know how strict and how illegal it will be. It will not be possible for you to try and go against the system, which is why I'm recording this video and this message for you now, to prepare yourself. We cannot have the emotional instability and sadness dominate and lead to rage, and for it to come out against authorities and against the Muslim funeral services who are only trying to follow the law and protect the public and protect you as well. And if I'm telling you now, in a manageable situation, that family members are not with those that they love when they pass away, or they're not able to bathe them, which is their right, or able to give them from their coffin, which is their right, then what is going to happen in a few weeks and a few months' time? You might call this scaremongering. The governments have prepared for it. The Muslim authorities, national burial councils have prepared for it, and I want you to prepare for it. Anything that you want to argue about amongst your family now, let it be argued now, because we can't have you arguing then. Try as much as possible to establish a sunnah right now and establish your relations and your connections with one another. Make sure that there's nothing left amongst you. There's no shahna, there is no hatred, there are no outstanding matters. Let's have clean hearts with one another and take the opportunity right now while the situation is manageable, because a time is coming where this is going to be impossible to manage. We need to take solace in the examples that have come before us in the Quran. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. Yaqub alayhi salam, when he was lied to by his sons about the death of his beloved Yusuf alayhi salam, he said that, but it is better for me to be patient, and I will seek help from Allah alone about that which you describe. The big difference is that I am telling you to be patient, and I am telling you to rely upon Allah, but it is not a lie that I am describing. This is something that's going to happen. And to help us, maybe we should take solace in the fact that we're all looking forward to the descriptions of the Prophet ﷺ, that the one who passes away from such conditions. The hadith suggests that even someone who dies of COVID-19 will hopefully, inshaAllah, be considered a shaheed. And Nabi ﷺ said, Al-Mad'un shaheed, wa sahibu dhat al-jam shaheed, that the one who is inflicted with the plague is a martyr. The one who has who dies of a painful chest condition is a martyr. And even though this does not mean the legal status of an actual martyr on the battlefield, we should invoke in ourselves the same spirit of love and honor. When someone dies on a battlefield, they will be buried as they are, in their same clothes, in their same manner, without any ghusl, without any shrouding, and according to the majority of scholars, without a funeral prayer. No family there, no loved ones there to give them comfort. So that might happen to us as well, where we're not able to fulfill the full realities, and certainly you will not be allowed to be there, the public will not be allowed to be there. So you should invoke that spirit, that our expectation of this situation is for them to be shuhada. So we need to then honor these dead and be patient like we would be in the case of the shuhada. This is a very serious situation. It cannot be just written off as scaremongering. Preparedness is what is an obligation upon us now. I want us to really get over our problems and have these difficult conversations. And you want to argue and shout and blame, then let's do it now. Do it to me now. Do it to your family now, whoever you want. But get it out of your system, because we cannot have you arguing then and putting pressure upon an impossible situation. Then be ready now. This is my message. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us, for Him to forgive us, for Him to improve us. And if He takes us, then let Him take us as shuhada, and give patience to those who remain behind, and understanding. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.